RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
Oh my God, what's happening? Guys, sorry about that. Sorry about the delay. Look at my camera. I got a new camera. It does seem a little better, but look at that. It fixed the color. You just got to show it the card, but it always kind of goes back. I don't know. I got to figure it out. Guys, that's why I ask you to become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Anyway, my name is Tara Devlin. Thank you so much for hanging out. This is unapologetic liberal talk on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy. I see the chat room at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster filling up with the amazing people that hang out here every Friday evening from I guess it's been around the 8:30 Eastern Standard Time vicinity, and I apologize. I've been trying to do it, get the show going at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's been difficult. I apologize, but yeah, guys, thank you. I appreciate you guys meeting me halfway, right? So that's how we do it. We stick together, we win. And I know how annoying that is, though. Not that we stick together, we win, but not the fluctuating time. So I recognize that, and I'm working on it. I'm trying. It's just me, I'm the one-man band here. So if you, like I said, whatever, become a patron if you can. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Keep the show going and growing. If you can or you can't, come on over and hang out in the chat room. The chat room is hopping already. So I love seeing everybody on Friday nights. It's kind of, I call it therapy for the resistance. It really is. We need this. We need to get together because that's what it means to be human, right? To connect and share, and hopefully maybe spur each other on to do something about the problems that we have in the nation, because we deserve it. Goddamn. I mean, the whole world is looking at us as the madhouse that we are. No, not that there's not madness all over the place, right, in other countries. But first of all, let me just get to the plugs, and then we'll get to what we're talking about. So I just want to say, if you can, like I said, become a patron, patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And then if you can't, hang out in the chat room. But YouTube, we are on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher. Give the show a good review on iTunes. That helps keep the show going up in the algorithm. And also like and subscribe. I know I have to say this. This is what happens. This is what they tell you in YouTube school. Sorry. This is going to be annoying with this fucking card. They tell you got to always repeat the call to action. So hit the like and subscribe, and the notification bell so you know when we go live. APS Radio News, that's another great network for independent voices. So check that out. And you don't really need to, I don't know, check this show out there and tell Charlie that you heard it here. It being me. I am it. All right. Maybe in regard to some Republicans, it is true. They have called me it before. But they're trying to hurt me. But they don't understand that I don't care. When a Republican tries to insult me, that means I'm doing it right. It's the truth. It's actually a Buddhist thing, too. And that's how you know you're heading in the right direction. You get resistance. So, FYNation.com, and, well, I'll do some more plugs throughout the show. So let's get into it. What else? Did I miss anybody? Whatever. We'll talk about it later. So, this country is insane, but not that things don't happen elsewhere, but like, for example, the assassination of the former prime minister of Japan, which is an abomination. But did you see the weapon or the gun this fucker used? He had a homemade gun because they actually have laws there, but it doesn't stop kooks from going on the internet and building their own weapon. But it does, I mean, something like that it's shocking to Japanese people because gun violence is basically non-existent there. I have a feeling, I know a lot of Japanese people because I practice Buddhism, and but they're free. They don't feel oppressed. In fact, they have the freedom to go to the supermarket without fearing somebody shooting them, or to go to and name it, a concert, a school, and it's absolutely unfathomable. That's a hard word for me. For the rest of civilization to look at this country, and especially the hypocrisy of the right wingers who proclaim themselves to be pro-life, and I wish they were. Frankly, don't you? I do. I wish they were actually pro-life. That they practiced that. If that was their touchstone, good for them. If it was for real. And I frankly wish they loved America. They're always waving the flag and humping a flag. We've seen Trump. That's what he does. That's how much they hate America. You understand? Like, they can't express in what patriotism actually is. So Trump literally takes a flag and sexually assaults it, because that to them that's patriotism. How is that patriotism? And I often wonder, or, well, not just wonder, but I often wish that the corporate media, when these Republicans are bestowing the pro-life moniker on themselves, that they push back. But of course, that's wishful thinking. The corporate media is part of the problem, and we know that. Now today, I don't know if you noticed. Watch this space, as they say. Excuse me, my glasses are all crooked. But so the jobs report came out today, and I was watching Morning Joe, as I do, to start my day off with a good hate watch. And so of course the jobs report it's pretty good, and the corporate media pundits were like, this is the best jobs, the more jobs created in any administration ever in our lifetimes, blah, blah, blah. And gas prices are going down, and the unemployment rate is at a level unheard of. Of course, that's what Trump promised, all of this. And, of course, didn't. He promised the moon, but couldn't deliver a pizza, that fucker. So... that's his thing. That's his brand, being a bloviating serial bankrupt. But so then here's where they're pivoting. They have gas prices are going down, and the jobs report is great, and blah, blah, blah. But what are the Democrats going to do about crime? That's the new kick down on the Democrats, because they could never do their part in a way just to report the fucking news. Everything is an assault on the what's the Democrats going to do? How are they going to how much are they going to lose in the midterms? It's like it is a foregone conclusion, and they're fixing the facts around the policy. The fact is, crime is up. That is the truth. It's up all over the country, and it's not a Democratic thing. It didn't start under Biden. It's the murder rate was going up throughout Trump, but not just the murder rate, just violent crime rate is going up. And there are different theories why. Some of it has to do with I don't know, what was it? I was reading something about it. Well, a lot of it is income disparity, and the upward immobility and death by despair, death from despair, all that, which falls into different categories like suicide, drug addiction, and overdose and whatnot. And but the crime rate is, it's in fact, in Republican cities, they have a the murder rate. Let me get as I'm fucking trying to get the words out of my mouth here. Hold on. The fact is, did anybody remember when that con man was squatting in the White House despite receiving fewer votes? The corporate media kicking down on him, like, what's he gonna do with this crime rate? No. I'll be right back. Am I wrong here? Am I wrong? Look, here we go. Murders are up in Republican-run cities. Because, Trump says and this was in 2020. Here's an article from 2020 from Vox. Trump says murders are up in Democrat-run cities. This is, and you know how that drives me insane. It's on the Vox freaking headline. Democrat-run cities. It's Democratic. The fucking name of the party is Democratic Party. Democratic, not Democrat. Democrat run. But okay, whatever. Moving on. They're up in Republican cities too. Trump's comments at the presidential debate paint a misleading picture about crime and violence in the United States. Well, what a fucking surprise. He painted a misleading picture. That's who they are. Let me tell you guys, and the other thing, as far as the craziness that goes on in all over the world, we know that the Brits got rid of Boris Johnson. Great. I'm envious, frankly. Why? What's wrong with us? And so this week, Mike Malloy I've been on the Mike Malloy show because Mike has COVID. And he's recovering. He's doing well. And Robin Kincaid is hosting, and she invited me to come on the show, and we've been doing a show. And in fact, it's kind of, we've been talking for a while now about doing a show, Robin and I, maybe once a week, kind of like a View type show, thinking about other females to get involved. Haven't decided yet. Maybe it'll be just me and Robin. We were thinking about that when I went to West Virginia and we were driving around, and we were saying, damn, we should be filming this. We should get this on video. And that's how it began. Because it's just, we have great conversations, Robin and I. And I think that we were, thinking about doing that. But what the fuck was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So we were talking about Boris Johnson. And of course, Robin and I both watch Morning Joe. That's one of the things. And then we commiserate about it. And they were, of course, what's his name? Joe Scarborough was talking about how, what's wrong with the Brits? What a big deal. Boris Johnson went out to a restaurant when everybody, or had a party. That's what happened. He had a party when everybody was in lockdown. Big deal. We have presidents here that facilitate and preside over a coup, and nothing happens. So, and I didn't get his point of view, because we should be that vigilant when it comes to our government. We should be like that. We should tolerate none of this nonsense. And in fact, tolerating the nonsense is what got us here. And that's why I'm of the opinion that we have to fight every battle. We can't let it lay in the floor. We can't expect the American people to rise above it. We have to, we can't expect the American people to know better. And do you know what I'm saying? When the Republicans pull their bullshit, a lot of times like a child, you're just like, I don't even have the energy to address this. But we must. We have to keep these people. I mean, we have to, the ones who are reachable, the so-called independents. That's why you can't leave any of the Republican lies on the floor, stinking up the place like a fucking rotten egg. Hold on, I just pulled out my goddamn headphones. So, yeah, you have to fight every battle. And as far as Boris Johnson, it's conservatism. Conservatism is a cancer on humanity. You know why? Okay. Well, Tom Hartman says that we need conservatives, that it's, I guess so. I get his point that I mean, all right, in the scheme of things, where it's always good to have a tempered voice saying, okay, slow down. You know, let's but whatever. We, not that liberals are just like, woo, let's go. You know, we are the ones who are capable of moving humanity forward. But whatever, okay. So Tom Hartman's like, oh, we need, I guess on a level, I don't know, whatever. As far as conservatives, I am of the opinion, I'll just tell you, that everything that they stand for, their ideology of let's slow it down or whatever, and it's also fear-based, but it's really not needed in this modern world. They need to evolve, and you know, this is the problem. They don't seem to have the ability to evolve, so that's why they want to devolve and drag us back. Whereas humanity, naturally, we move forward. If you look at the history of the human race as a timeline, as let's say as an entity that began as in infancy and grew up, and we're not even near adulthood. That's for sure. We're still kind of in maybe adolescent, right? As a species. But we're moving towards I believe, I hope, a more equitable, fair way of, I don't know, maybe. I have high hopes for that. Eventually, we will win, but I don't see the point of having, because it's not just about, hey, slow down. It's about complete obstruction and regression. So you see, they pine for this mythical past that never existed. There were gay people throughout history. There were trans people throughout history. People lived and died and suffered under the oppression of the kind of systems conservatives are comfortable with. We're trying to get past this. That's what democracy is all about. That's what e pluribus unum is all about. But you can't practice e pluribus unum if you hate everybody in the country. So anyway, whatever. Okay, what am I saying? Let's just go. The thing about Boris Johnson, all right? So they got rid of Boris Johnson. It wasn't just about him having a party when everyone was in lockdown. It was about the lies, too. He lied about it. And then it was on video, so then he tried to laugh it off. It's the same cycle that we go through here all the time. But we tolerate it and allow it to continue. And it can't be allowed to continue. So now we have the corporate media. So this is what we're up against. So that we have this complete and utter, the lines have been moved so far where lying is just par for the course. When we have so-called representatives talking about false flags. It's ridiculous. Hold on. And I was talking about false flags right before the break, but I'm talking about Perjury Traitor Greene going on her podcast, because now all of the representatives and senators, the Republicans, have fucking podcasts. That's what they do. They get paid $170,000 a year to have a podcast. This bitch, this QAnon bitch, has a podcast where she tells the dummies who believe her. See, I can understand hate watching the Perjury Traitor Greene show, but it certainly shouldn't be. She shouldn't be a representative. She's a kook. She's a crackpot, and people will vote for her again. And she goes, and the insult of a kook getting on her podcast. I mean, think about this. That's what she does. She's not on any committees because she's unfit. She was kicked off of the committees, and all she does all day is spread lies. So instead of moving forward as a country and a community to make a more perfect union, we're constantly having to put out the fires and address the manias of the freaking fascist right-wing scumbags trying to destroy the country from the inside. I don't know. I don't see a purpose in that. I don't see a purpose in that, Tom. I hate to tell you. Whatever. Not that they should. I'm not saying that, they should, be eliminated or anything like that. I'm just saying that they should not have power. Just like you don't give kids licenses. You have to reach a certain age. You have to demonstrate a certain level of maturity. That should be the very least for the representatives and the senators. And when they get into the halls of power, the standards, the ethical standards, should be even more important and scrutinized. They should be held to a higher standard. So to complain that the British got rid of Boris Johnson, but I don't know if you guys saw it. There was on Twitter when I think Grant tweeted that so all of the media was outside of the Houses of Parliament, and Grant tweeted that somebody should blare the theme from Benny Hill through the microphone, through their megaphone. So all of the corporate media pundits there, will have this musical, the Benny Hill, as their backdrop. And it says it all. And that was Kate Petrini sent me that through, she's always keeping me up on things. But it goes to show you that hold on, let me find it. I'll find, now that I said it. Kate Petrini, the education correspondent for the Mike Malloy show, and also I'm taking her too. She's my education correspondent. Let's watch.
Make sure that we keep the basic functions of government going. That's really important. There are, for example, no ministers in DfE at the moment. That needs to be sorted out. Secondly, I think we need to try and select a new leader as quickly as we reasonably can. And obviously,
you hear it in the background.
Make the correct choice, but we should do it in a reasonably quick time. In terms of Boris staying on, the convention is that the outgoing Prime Minister...
it says it all, because, Benny Hill, it's the perfect soundtrack to conservatism. It's like a bunch of old dudes running, old, unfit, self-serving, white nitwits, knocking shit over, stuffing their pockets with whatever they can get, gluttonous, and trying to feel everybody up, literally. And that's conservative government, no matter where. And I've asked people, I've posed this challenge to people in the chat room. And I'm open to to finding out, is there or has I don't even know, am I saying it correctly? Have there been has there ever been a conservative government that is successful for the majority of people? Has it worked? Because the United States is a progressive experiment, as we know. Okay, whatever. Okay. Where was I? Oh shit! You know what? I knew I forgot to do something. I forgot to press the button at the restream. I'm glad it's coming through, and I want to thank you, Richard W., for your super chat. Thank you so much, Richard. Right out of the gate, another great show, Tara. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you, Jim, for your super chat. Thank you also for being one of the moderators in the chat room, and thank you, Haiku, for being the OG moderator in the chat room. Yes, but I thought that was brilliant. The fact is, as far as Brexit, now this is the other thing. I am not an expert on British politics or government, but what I was reading, it doesn't surprise me that every promise made by Boris Johnson and the rest of the Brexiteers has not, of course, ever come to fruition. Everything that they promised is the opposite. So, and the other thing, one of the other things that Boris Johnson was notorious for was the lies. He would just make shit up, make up numbers, and promising. In fact, one of the promises of Brexit was that it would return. I don't remember the number, but let's just say like 200 million pounds or whatever it was to the National Health Service. And of course, it was a completely made up number. But you see how dangerous this is, and it is Trumpism all over the world. The right wingers use him as a model, and they're learning. Like we've talked about it before with DeSantis, and the corporate media's kind of grooming the American people for this fucking DeSantis character. And he's worse. He's worse than Trump. He's running a fascist fiefdom down in Florida. And he's not as, I guess, I mean, he is offensive, but he's not as much of a bumbler as Trump. So I guess he can control himself somewhat on Twitter. And that's acceptable. So the corporate media, they never put that into frame when they're saying that lots of Republicans are turning to DeSantis as their alternative to Trump. But he's far more terrifying, frankly, because one of the saving graces with Trump is that he's a disgusting. Serial bankrupt, tax cheating, draft dodging, dictator envying, wannabe dictator, con man, with a fake university and a fake multi-level marketing vitamin scam. So, look, it's so weird. The camera goes like red again. Watch this. Why don't you go back? All right. See? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one messing it up. But not a surprise that every promise made by the conservatives in England hasn't come to fruition. Now, it's the same thing with conservatives here or anywhere. Tell me, when will they ever be held to account? For example, we've had same-sex marriage for many years now. Anybody aware of a rash of people marrying their pets? Because that was one of the warnings we got. Have heterosexual marriages been dissolved from sea to shining sea? Has people of the same peepee forming a legal marriage contract? Has that? affected heterosexual marriages, opposite PP marriages. So, no. Or how about the death panels with Obamacare? Have they broken out yet? Because none of the warnings that Republicans tell us about ever come to fruition. We're always supposed to be teetering on the brink of disaster in some form whenever humanity attempts to make a leap forward, and does in spite of them. And we know that as soon as we pass Medicare for all or some form of universal health care in this fucked up country, it won't take long for Republicans to position themselves as the saviors and champion of it. You know that. All right, we'll be right back. All right. My name is Tara Devlin. Thanks for hanging out. So I wanted to, we were talking about in the other show about Rudy Giuliani getting smacked on the back. Well, tapped on the back. And going on all over on the fascist propaganda outlets, saying that he was hurt. It felt like a boulder. He was hit in the back. That it was the worst attack. It's unacceptable, and everyone came to his defense and aid. Except we watched the video, and it was some guy walking by. Hey, patted him on the back, but they won't quit. You see. And this is why we never move forward when these fuckers are at the helm. We have to address them like toddlers having a tantrum. And apparently Rudy Giuliani needs stents after being assaulted, says businessman and radio host John Catsimatidis. He needs stents? We watched the video again and again. It's a joke, and I am glad that the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, and not a big fan of him, but he said that Giuliani should be arrested for making a false report. But they don't. It doesn't stop them. It's like the big lie, the little lie, and every other lie in between. They will not, once they have a lie in their greedy gullets, they don't let go. Like a rabid dog on a chicken wing. They're gonna ride that lie. They're gonna suck all the marrow out of that lie. So who is texting me? Okay. Rudy Giuliani needs stents. John Catsimatidis said the former mayoral candidate, radio host, and supermarket magnate rushed to Giuliani's defense during a radio interview with New York City Mayor Eric Adams, saying that the former mayor had a medical procedure after making the accusation that a man who patted him on the back actually assaulted him. I want you to know that Mayor Giuliani was in a weak state of mind because of the fact he wasn't breathing well. Oh, I see. This is where we're going. Catsimatidis said during a call-in interview with Adams on his WABC talk show, he's been like that for 30 days. And on Tuesday, right after the weekend, he had to have stents put in his back to bring his oxygen count back up. The weekend Catsimatidis was referring to is the one of June 26, when Giuliani was appearing at a campaign event inside a Staten Island ShopRite with his son, who the people of New York said no thanks to. During the evening, one of the supermarket's employees patted Rudy on the back and allegedly said, "What's up, scumbag?" Good. And that's the way Republicans should be greeted. That's pretty much they've earned that moniker. What's up, scumbag? Even though, like we said, to call them a scumbag is kind of, it's a step up from scum. So it is a promotion. Days later, Adams called out Giuliani for the accusation. Shutting this off. Somebody keeps texting me. On Thursday, Adams said he spoke to the Staten Island district attorney about the incident. It was unfair for a New Yorker to spend 24 hours in jail for an offense that he did not commit. Because the guy, I've neglected to say, was arrested for assaulting this fucking old cracker, this lying piece of shit. But that's what fascism is, you know. You take this person and put them in jail for nothing, for no offense whatsoever. Because you can. You have that power. It's like Trump using the IRS to go after his political enemies. And that's what he did. The same Republicans who cry that everybody's picking on them constantly, that Obama used the IRS to scrutinize their whatever that is, 10, what is that, 401, whatever, 3 BC, their nonprofit. They didn't want to pay their taxes. They don't want to pay they need government they want all the benefits of civilization and government, but they don't want they don't want to pay the dues, and they don't want any of the responsibilities we have to each other. But everyone's always picking on them. And the fact is, it's the exact opposite. They're the ones using the power of the state to go after their political enemies. And we know if the shoe's ever on the other foot, somebody show me. Because I remember, like Kavanaugh during his disgraceful display at his so-called whatever that was, that confirmation hearing, crying about revenge of the Clintons. Let's see it. This revenge is always what revenge? Revenge of the Clintons. Everyone's picking on them, but then it's the opposite. So you better believe that Trump is a petty little wannabe tyrant. He picked up the phone and said, I don't like these people. And his unfit, unethical minion carried it out, followed suit. Where is this? Hold on a second. IRS. I just had the article, of course. And one of the where the fuck is it? Sorry, guys. Said if you think that it is statistically near impossible for coincidentally two of Trump's enemies to be audited like this at the same time. So let me see. Trump, IRS. Oh, we're still waiting for Trump's taxes too, right? Am I wrong? Is he still under audit? Anybody? It's unbelievable how stupid Trumpanzees are. Let's see. Let me see. IRS audit. I had it. It's just... All right, here we go. The head of the IRS has asked a watchdog to investigate the decision to conduct rare tax audits on former FBI Director James Comey and the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. It is so obvious. What are the chances the director of the FBI and the deputy director being audited at the same time? Because Trump this is who he is. This is what they have done to this country. They've turned it into factions. Now, that was one of the warnings the founders had, that they lamented and feared that the country would that we would form political parties and turn into factions. And here we are. The faction is all they have because they hate democracy. They don't want to function in a free democratic society. They're above the law. So, of course, let me see. It just defies logic to think that there was some other factor involved, McCain told CNN's Laura Coates on Don Lemon tonight, of his purportedly random selection for the audit. I think it's a reasonable question. I think it should be investigated. Now, imagine if the shoe was on the other foot. Let's say the IRS suddenly just launched an audit against Eric Trump and Ivanka Trump. It would be that, suspicious. Of course, come on, let's not believe the filth coming out of the fascist mouth. Believe your lion eyes. So, all right. You know what I promised? A couple of things before the last show. Before more time passes. Do you want to see this fucking Kyle Rittenhouse asshole? Oh my God, I gotta block these people. I swear, I'm this show streams on Rokfin, and there are a lot of fucking assholes and losers on there. Really, I don't know why. I wish more normal people would sign up for that. I don't know what the attraction is over there. What are they promoting it as? They're like, they leave posts on the show. Oh, this is garbage. Oh, okay. What a scintillating comment. Please, go hump a flag, honey. I wish they would just go hump a flag. Why don't they go galt already? These right-wingers. And what is it about? You know what? Let's talk about it. I'm just going to say it, and we say it all the time, but let's reiterate it. Republicans hate America. They do. They cannot function in the type of free democratic society that they pretend to love. And over at thewriting.com, it's THERIGHTING.com. This is an aggregate of all, not all, I suppose, but many right-wing rags all in one place. So this person, whoever gets these links together, God bless them, you see themes developing every single day. Today, it's fascinating, frankly. They must all, I mean, they are very well coordinated as far as messaging, that's for sure. But here at the writing, it's all about Brittany Griner today. So Griner should have voted for Trump. And this is what gets me. America-hating Brittany Griner faces a decade in jail. So why is she America-hating? This is from the fascist rag called Blue State Conservative. Despite being black, lesbian, and a woman, traits that's kind of a redundant. Being a lesbian means you're, I guess, I don't know. And a woman, traits which Griner and her Confederates have argued result in systemic oppression. Brittany Griner has been immensely successful, and that's how they justify the kiss up, kick down income disparity and the ghettoizing of the American people, of some segments of society, the darker pigment people. They justify never ever looking at the disparities in America that keep this country stuck and divided, because they don't want us to be a more perfect union. And everybody who isn't an asshole, and that means everyone who's not a right-winger, understands that in order to move forward, as a country, because we're a nation of immigrants. We are a country that had a lot of very inspiring founding documents, but have yet to finally or actualize them for all. We were founded by men who were capable of writing "all men are created equal," and meaning all men, all white men. Women were nothing. Women were property. Of course, gays were executed. And this is the world they like that world, and we have them on tape saying it. Of course, not all of them will say it in public, but their fascism is emboldened now. And it's not on the fringe of the Republican Party. It's in the halls of power. So they think that, and I know this for a fact because I've been attacked by right-wingers saying, oh, I hate America because we're talking about race. We're talking about racism. In fact, it's the exact opposite. People who cannot face the reality of the country and want to make it better for all, you hate America. Loving America is not masturbating into a flag, as you're wont to do. Or let me show you this. Did I show you this video of this guy on Twitter? Let me try to find it as we're talking here. And thank you guys. I see the chat room is hopping and popping. Oops, shit! I did it again. I keep putting my foot up. That's what happens. And then I pull the cord. So we got a lot of people in the chat room at youtube.com/C for channel /Tarabuster. Come on over and hang out. And I see that there's been some trolls kicked out today. So thank you guys. Thank you, Jim and Haiku, doing double duty in the chat room. I appreciate it. How could I do that? I mean, I can't do the show without you guys. But the fact is, if we're triggering these morons, that's a good thing. That means we're doing it correctly. Oh my God. I'm flipping through this, and I came across. We'll have to watch this. Hold on.
Okay, this guy's family's making billions of dollars, probably.
Wow.
No consideration, no claims. Think of all the things I was accused of doing that I didn't do anything. All
we
of
know
this
you
nonsense,
never did anything.
all lies. Now I know it's lies. They could care less how they got there. The President of the United States, we've been talking about it, can at least plausibly be accused of selling U.S. government access to international foes. Again, I wrote a book about this in the summer of 2020.
God.
It's nothing new, right?
Wow. I wrote a book about it in the summer. You wrote a book of that? No, somebody wrote some fucking thing that you put together a bunch of right-wing rants. And then they put your name on it, and then right-wing organizations bought them up so you can claim you were a New York Times bestseller author, or whatever the fuck you claim to be. That's how they do it. Where is this goddamn guy? But, humping a flag is not patriotism. Wearing a shirt with a flag on it or stars is not patriotism. Voting for con men, tax cheating, draft dodging, racists, that's not patriotism. Yeah, the minute that Trump came down the escalator claiming that Mexicans were rapists, anybody who is a patriot recoiled from that and understood what we were up against. The fact that so many Americans were attracted to that, in spite of the racism, is very disappointing and disgusting and part of the problem. The no apology fascism crowd, these are the people that need to work on themselves, that instead of inflicting their manias outward. Look, here's one of their rising stars. Perjury Traitor Greene, who, never forget, 3 days after she was sworn into Congress, she begged Trump for a pardon. All right? Because she knows she's a fucking traitor. Who votes for people like that? 3 days after she's sworn into Congress, she needs a pardon? And here she is on her podcast.
We just finished up the month of June, which is Pride Month, where there were parades and festivals. But we also saw a lot of things that really children shouldn't see.
Like what?
People, naked people even.
Naked people even. Let's see it. But of course, it's all in her easily manipulated, whatever excuse of a mind that is. It's more panic. You know, forget that we have evolved as a civilization, that gay people aren't vilified anymore by normal people. That gay people, as we always knew, friends, neighbors, everybody knows a gay person now. TV, celebrities. We've come a long way. We certainly have. I mean, we have. I remember. Remember how no actor or actress would ever consider playing a gay character because that would kill their career. And now it's like nothing. Gay characters play straight. I mean, gay actors play straight characters and vice versa. It doesn't really, people don't bat an eye. And that's what Republicans hate. They can't handle that. So because they have nothing. And when you have nothing, I guess you have to grab on to anything you can get your hands on, like homophobia. Transphobia is, of course, off the chart with these fuckers. But they don't want to let go of homophobia. They want to go back to a time when that was, we had Democrats saying shit like, marriage is a sacred bond between a man and a woman. All right.
Trans strippers dressed like drag queens.
Woo!
But we never saw
fun.
any of these parades or events get shot up. We never saw mass shootings at these events. But yet, as soon as all the hashtag F the Fourth signs and slogans came out, a bunch of cities were saying terrible things about their July 4th celebrations. A bunch of Democrat cities, by the way.
Oh, my God. Her voice is like a rake on a chalkboard. Bunch of Democrat cities, by the way. Saying F the Fourth? No, just F you. And I looked up, I went on Twitter then, she's saying that this hashtag F the Fourth was trending. And of course, that's not true. What do you expect, though?
What happened on July 4th? A bunch of shootings, terrifying Americans in all different places. But you know what? Who knows? Maybe that's a conspiracy theory, too.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch. That's all you got. This is a QAnon moron. Before she became a so-called representative, she was a victim of the QAnon cult. She never posted. We went through her whole history. And actual journalists, I mean, this is what we have to spend our time on now, went through her social media history. And of course, she's a fraud as a so-called businesswoman. She's not a businesswoman. She was somebody who lived off the dole of her generous family, who has a business. She never worked. Her job, quote unquote, was going to the gym every day and doing CrossFit. Until she became a QAnon cultist. She fell down a Q hole. And all her social media, she never posted about anything political. And then she started posting about Q and Jewish space lasers and shit like that. She has no clue. This bitch is clueless. That's why she's all about the gazpacho police. She she is a moron. And that's the elephant in the room. Right? We allow these morons. Where's the accountability? There is none. Not for them. They are allowed to disgrace us. They're allowed to be to eat democracy away from the inside. And it's embarrassing. She should be embarrassed, but they have. Here, let's talk about. We were talking about this on. I was with Robin today on the Mike Malloy show. How Brett, I like beer. Kavanaugh he wanted to have to exercise his right as a white man and go eat some steak out in public. And then, I mean, whatever, who cares? And the plebs got in the way. And I was, putting this under the good news section of the show. Where is it? Hold on. Oh yeah, Elon Musk is now. That's good news too. But the whole Elon Musk thing. Elon Musk he wants out of the Twitter deal. Of course, crying and complaining that it's everybody else's fault. But of course, he's just a dick. And conservatives are upset because, and their love of Elon Musk is telling. It proves my point that Republicans are not fit to function in a democracy. They hate democracy because it requires them to compromise and get along with people that they have been told they have a superior. They're born and above them on the hierarchy. And they don't like that. They don't like having to share civilization. So, here, hold on. Brett Kavanaugh's right to dine shall not be infringed. This is from Esquire. Never mind that it wasn't, and the Americans have no recourse to hold members of their unelected Supreme Court accountable. So, Brett Kavanaugh was nominated to become a member of our 9-person Super Congress by a president who took office despite earning the votes of millions of fewer Americans than his opponent did. That president never enjoyed the support of a majority of citizens and got spanked in the popular vote by an even larger margin. In the next election, 7 million. He then tried to overthrow the government to stay in power. Only 1 in 5 of the right-wing justices was nominated by a president who took office having secured the support of a majority of actual Americans. Brett Kavanaugh was then confirmed by 50 senators who represented just 44% of the American population. This can't be repeated enough. This has to stop. And that's why America, the United States, is swirling the bowl. Because Republicans, it's like we're treading water here. And the Republican albatrosses are dragging us down. Dragging us under the waves. To kill this democracy so they can build an intergenerational aristocracy like the founders overthrew. So when they say they hate government, what they really mean is that they hate democracy and they hate America. So the 48 senators who voted nay against I Like Beer Kavanaugh represented tens of millions more citizens. Kavanaugh secured the crucial 50th vote of Senator Susan fucking Collins based on her publicly stated belief that he considered Roe versus Wade to be settled legal precedent. Well, what a surprise. He lied. In other public hearings into the question of his confirmation, where he testified under oath, Kavanaugh said this: Senator, I said that it is settled precedent of the Supreme Court entitled the respect under principles of stare decisis, And one of the most important things to keep in mind about Roe v. Wade is that it has been reaffirmed many times over the past 45 years, as you know, and most predominantly and most importantly reaffirmed in Planned Parenthood v. Casey. As you well recall, Senator, and this is another time, under oath, Kavanaugh said, I know when that case came up, the Supreme Court did not just reaffirm it in passing. The court specifically went through all the factors of stare decisis in considering whether to overrule it. And the joint opinion of Justice Kennedy, Justice O'Connor, Justice Souter, at great length, went through those factors. So, those are his statements under oath, saying that he respects stare decisis. He respects the super precedent. And then a couple of weeks ago, Kavanaugh voted with the 5 other filthy fascists on the court, the illegitimate Supreme Court, to overrule Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood versus Casey. If you have a problem with any of this, unelected judges selected by presidents who got fewer votes and confirmed by senators who represent a minority of citizens making policy without the regard for legal precedent or their own previous statements under oath, then you don't seem to have much recourse. You can't vote the super legislators out. It is unreasonable to expect any will be impeached, and thanks to the entrenched advantages that allow Republicans outsized control of the Senate, even the House of Representatives is dangerously skewed thanks to gerrymandering and redistricting maps and the hyperpolarization they help to generate. And that's all by design, by the way, guys, because Republicans can't have a fascist coup if we have a unified country. If the United States, the people, think about each other as fellow citizens and not you liberals, evil liberals, lying, stealing election, all the fucking things Republicans are doing. Ridiculous. Hello. So, let's see. You cannot protest at the Supreme Court as they've walled that shit off. You can't protest at the justices' houses. And there's some merit to the idea that private residences where spouses and children. Fuck that, though. These people you gotta wonder if they think who they think they really are, right? They have no honor to begin with, because if they did, they would have said no thank you to Mitch McConnell's coup. When Mitch McConnell called up Gorsuch and said, "Hey, I'm gonna shove you on the Supreme Court illegitimately," even though I didn't give what's his name, Merrick Garland, a hearing for nearly a fucking year. I spit in the face of the American people, the majority who elected the President Obama in 2 landslide elections. I spit in his face, and do you want to go on have your seat in this lifetime position, lording over the United States? And he said yes. He was invited to a coup. I mean, everybody is lionizing the Republicans who, in the January 6th hearings, are telling tales that how they were invited to a coup and did not accept the invitation. But Neil Gorsuch did. He accepted. If he had any honor, even at the time I was saying this, if that man had any honor, he would have said no. You know what you need to do, Moscow Mitch? You need to put up Merrick Garland. Yeah, that's the person that needs a hearing, not me. But Neil Gorsuch stole his seat. And then comes I Like Beer Brett, who is unfit. Anybody who stands up there, sits there, crying about he likes beer and banging the table and crying and screaming revenge of the Clintons. This is revenge of the Clintons. Now, we have reached a new low. We have conspiracy theorists all over in the halls of power, in the fucking Supreme Court. One squatted in the White House. Dupes, suckers. If you think, and then they proclaim themselves patriots. But they're not patriots, and it's time for Democrats to say it. Just say it out loud. The Republicans, they are the domestic enemies that anybody who ever took an oath to the Constitution took the oath to protect this country against. I took an oath. That's why I love the fact that I served in the National Guard. Not just because it was a great experience in many ways, but also it shuts them the fuck down. These people that sit on the sidelines and do nothing but spread hate and division and do nothing to make this country great. How do you make a country great when you aren't even good? You're not even a good person. You have no honor. You are invited to a coup and you say yes. Because you hate you hate this country that much. You want to change it that much. When the progressives, the normal people, Democrats, liberals, the normal people of this country are evolving, trying towards a more perfect union. They can't handle it. Republicans can't handle it. Everything that we do to try to rectify the racist ass crimes that our fellow Americans have had to endure, the Republicans can't handle. I mean, they come after everything. Affirmative action. They hate that. They hate affirmative action. And why? Yeah, it's an attempt to, for whatever you think, right? The point of affirmative action was to try to make a more perfect union, to try to ensure that everyone has a seat at the table. And at the time, the notion was that that's what busing was about, and then the children who were bused had to meet the racist parents of their classmates, screaming at them, spitting on them. For what? Because they have fucking darker pigment, you pricks, you pigs? Because they have darker pigment. So they come after everything. Trust me, this illegitimate Supreme Court will destroy everything they get their hands on. They want everybody in their place. That's why Brett Kavanaugh thinks he can go out for a steak dinner and have the plebs bow at his feet. That's the world they want. Where the plebs are afraid to stand up, afraid to pat somebody in the back and say, "What's up, scumbag?" Because they'll spend a night in jail. That's fascism. That's abuse of power. But they love America, right? They love America. No, they don't. They hate everything about America. That's why they want to change America. And they say we hate America because we're trying to ensure that it survives as a constitutionally limited democratic republic of, by, and for the people. So there was as far as affirmative action, people thought at the time, and it was it's a good faith effort They thought that if people mixed together and grew up together, went to school together, worked together, that racism would be solved. But now we understand that it's not just meeting people or socializing or working and going to school together. It's a systemic problem. That there are laws, that there are institutionalized, there's systemic and institutionalized racism in this country that has to be addressed. And the Republicans can't deal with it. They don't want to hear it. Because they don't want a united country. They don't want people to consider each other our fellow Americans. They hate e pluribus. That's why they want everybody walking around with fucking guns. And that's the other thing. When they come after the 100-year-old law affecting well-populated states, not like the entire state of Wyoming has like 500,000 people. There's more people here in Queens, in my fucking neighborhood. Well, I don't know about that. I don't know the exact number, but what is going on in the chat? Not answering my question? When did we turn into a democratic republic? Says Vic on the chat. What is going on in this fucking chat? When did we what is the point, Vic? How is being in the middle wrong? Oh, whatever. Does being in the middle make me a right-winger? So there's an argument going on in the chat room. Really? Don't argue, Haiku. It doesn't matter. When did we become a... See, this is the thing about... sometimes I get... No offense, Vic. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming and hanging out. But a lot of times I'll get messaged by somebody, not necessarily right-wingers, I suppose, but they'll be like, you're not answering my question. You're not... and they have one thing on their mind and they want to discuss it right now. And I'm sorry, that's not how this works. I guess you can make it a show, you know what I mean? Make your own show and then discuss it. But we're talking about other things at the moment. And the question, when did we become a democratic republic? We're more of an aspirational system at this point, don't you think? But hey, that's my opinion. And in fact, the fact that the wants and needs of working people have a statistically insignificant effect on government policy means that, yeah, we are more aspirational than actualized. So we're working on it. And that's the problem to right-wingers. They don't want it. And they're openly saying it, so it's not just me projecting it on them. So, okay, where is this? Brett went out to eat. Hold on, Brett. That's why I need a producer that isn't a cat. Kavanaugh. Let's see. This is from Jezebel. I love the snark at Jezebel. Katie Ruth Ashcroft writes, Brett Kavanaugh denied the American right to finish his dessert at a steakhouse in peace. A group of terrible, quote, unruly protesters ruined Kavanaugh's meal at Morton's, violating his most basic constitutional right to eat surf and turf in public. In an injustice so grave, it makes my stomach ache. Justice Brett Kavanaugh was not able to order the seasonal cheesecake at a Washington, D.C. Morton Steakhouse last night. Oh, the humanity. Protesters learned of the Supreme Court Justice's dinner plans and gathered outside the downtown restaurant to heckle him, in part to in response to his overturning of Roe v. Wade, even though he's a lying piece of shit, and said that he respected it. as settled law, as well as expanding gun rights and allowing more greenhouse gases to destroy the planet. Let's not forget those offenses. According to Politico, protesters called the Morton's manager asking that the justice be kicked out, a relatively good use of the "let me speak to the manager" card, if it ever must be employed. Kavanaugh was able to finish his filet mignon, or whatever the fuck, and snuck out the back before dessert. A rep for the steakhouse told Politico, politics, regardless of your side or views, should not trample, listen to this, the freedom at play of the right to congregate and eat dinner. But the right to not die in a back alley abortion, that's another right. The right to your own autonomy, your bodily autonomy. See, they hate women too. That's the other. They hate it all. They hate civilization. They hate the interdependence of humanity. They want to suck on humanity like parasites. That's what they really are. But at least 100 years ago, before the progressive era, and the working class, as the working class started to understand their power, the strength and numbers, they understood who the true parasites were, who the takers were and are. It's the bosses, the big moneyed interests riding everybody to the bank. Because the fact is, if this is a constitutionally limited democratic republic, you must have an economically vibrant and upwardly mobile working class. Not this kind of serfs and lords society where the fucking the Christo-fascists, the illegitimate Christo-fascists who were shoved on the court illegitimately, get to dictate the freedom and the future of women, get to inject their myopic Christo-fascist view into people's lives. They hate life, you see. This is the other thing. If only they were pro-life. They hate life. They not only want abortion, they want women to die. Because they hate women too. They need help. They need to go. They're all like, oh, our gun problem is mental health. Well, fucking take yourself up on your own offer. You first, honey. Get the help you need. Because inflicting your shit on this society is, we've had enough. I've had enough. They have broken it down. They've broken us apart. And that's it. They don't want to, they do not want to have a functioning democracy. Everything about them. From the Black Lives Matter movement, just the response to that. The response to people with darker pigment being disproportionately summarily executed in the streets at traffic stops or for petty little quality of life crimes like selling Lucy fucking cigarettes on the street. That needs to be addressed. So the society's like, no, we can't handle this. This does not make a more perfect union. So we proclaim Black Lives Matter, and they lose their fucking minds. Because they hate life. And they say, oh, well, all lives matter. But you know what? We wouldn't have to say, if all lives matter, we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter. But we've been through that before. Anyway, so from Jezebel, politics, regardless of your side, should not trample the freedom at play of the right to congregate and eat dinner. There is a time and place for everything. This is what we always hear. Not now, right? Not here, not now. Don't take a knee here. Don't protest like that. Don't go to the House. Don't go to the court. You can't pester us here or there or anywhere. There's a time and place for everything. Well, when is that fucking time and place? I'm of the opinion shame is a useful emotion. If he has any of it. I doubt it, though. That's the problem. But it is the patriotic duty of all Americans to make this person uncomfortable in public. I'm not saying hurt him or anything. Nobody's hurting him. But calling him a fascist and a liar and an unfit disgrace and a shame to this country. I mean, how dare he squat on the Supreme Court after that performance, that embarrassing performance he gave. Now, you put any woman or person of darker pigment in his place and let them act like that at a job interview and see what happens. Let Ketanji Brown Jackson pound the table and say, I like beer. How about the 4,500 tips that the FBI didn't investigate? And the credible sexual assault allegations? And the lies, forget it. All of it. The lies. They're all disgraceful and unfit. This Supreme Court is an abomination. It is the reason this country it's part of the reason it's swirling the bowl. From the Los Angeles Times, a letter to the editor. The Supreme Court it's a question. A lot of times, the truth is posed as a question. Has the Supreme Court put us on the path to civil war? Letter to the editor. In 1857, the U.S. Supreme Court decided that a black man was not a citizen and therefore had no right to control his own body. For a number of years, many in the South had already been threatening secession, but the court's decision so shocked the North that the people there were in a frame of mind that our country was of two cultures. Thus, the Civil War began in 1861. The Mississippi abortion case decided is eerily parallel. It is the Dred Scott case of our time. The justices decided that more than 50% of our population do not have the right to control their own bodies. And just as in the 1850s, for a number of years, some have been talking about secession. This court decision has so shocked the rest of us, we no longer recognize our country. It puts us in a frame of mind that we truly are two countries. With communications being much faster than in Scott's day, the next civil war may come more quickly. I do not want to see bloody conflict that the right-wing militias are thirsting for. I would rather the matter be decided with a nationwide referendum. And I write this with a saddened heart. From Visalia, California. Melly McOnleyson. Guys, this is Tara Devlin. This is the Progressive Voices part of the show. That's over. But come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster to listen to the rest of the show. And SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, APS Radio News. Another great resource for independent thought. We will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency. Shit, I fucked that up. Dignity, democracy. We stick together. We win. I'll see you soon. I fucked that up. How did I do that so atrociously tonight? Oh, well. Guys, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you, Errol Thomas, for your super chat. You know what? I didn't hear the beginning of the music. That's how I didn't. Okay. Thank you, Errol Thomas, for your super chat. How come certain voters can't see that Tina Forte participated in the January 26th insurrection? Well, because they don't consider it an insurrection. Let me see. I was still looking for that. I got to do something about that. Not being able to find things in the middle of the show. I was trying to find this. Maybe you've seen it. The video of this guy with flags on the beach. Trump flags on the beach. It's one dude sitting. He's staked a claim to the beach, but all around him is I can't even. I don't know how many feet. Yards and yards, a perimeter he set up of nothing but American flags and Trump flags. And it's really kind of a metaphor for them, for Republicans in general, and Trumpanzees, how they just take up space. Is one dude making himself the center of attention and annoying everybody, just being an annoying dick. While people, it was over the 4th of July, they just want to go to the beach. And they got to deal with this idiot's manias. Yeah, we got a mental health problem. And it's right there. It's staring us in the face. It starts from the con man on down. All right. Let's look at this. I guess I keep saying it, but let's look at this Kyle Rittenhouse game. I know it's a couple of weeks old, or a week old, this story. But did you see this? Kyle Rittenhouse, he's 17 years old now, I guess. He's a murderer, and it's not going to end well for him. I'm not saying we're going to do anything to him. He's sick. He's mentally ill, and the attention that he's being used, as Republicans do. They use him. He's sick, and that's one of their heroes. And I always every time I see him, I think of there's a clip of Tucker Carlson backstage meeting or bumping into Kyle Rittenhouse, the both of them, and Kyle Rittenhouse says, "Oh, I love you. I love your work," and Tucker says, "Yeah, same here. I love your work," or something like he reciprocates. I love what you do. What you do? You're a fucking murderer. You killed people. You killed 2 people. You tried to kill a third. You maimed the third person for no reason other than you're a right-wing piece of shit. Already. A liar. Everything about him. He's sick. He needs supervision. His family he really should have been, his mother should have been charged driving his ass into a place he had no business being, making it worse. There to do nothing but make it worse. Anyway, because he's floundering and I guess needs money, I thought he was going to be what was he going to be? He was going to be an EMT because he really wants to help. And then he was lying that he was supposedly accepted to a college, and the college said, "We have no idea what you're talking about. Go to college, do something." But nobody wants him. And he couldn't join the military. They won't have him. There's no way. Because there is a thing in the military, I'm sure people do slip through the cracks, but you cannot be a right-wing asshole. That's one of the no-goes in the military. You can't be a fascist. You can't be a racist. And it's not there, but they are very strict about, and it's one of the bars to entry. You can't be involved in any kind of domestic terrorist group like the KKK, like any kind of Nazi affiliate, any proud boy, proud prick, shithole, shitbags. No, that's a no-go. And as somebody who was in the military, I remember thinking to myself how they were pretty damn strict. They would not tolerate any form. Obviously, there's long ways to go in general, but they wouldn't tolerate racism in any form overtly. If somebody said something, it would not be tolerated. But so that's why Kyle Rittenhouse, he couldn't even do that. He couldn't join the military. Because some people are like, well, if all else fails, I can sign up, right? Not him. He can't do that. I guess. Could you imagine? No, there's no way. But here's an advertisement he released.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse. You might know me as the guy who was recently acquitted from all charges in the Kenosha self-defense case.
And listen to that audio. You might know me. He could have waited until he recovered from his cold, don't you think? But the audio on this, whatever, and this ad was tweeted out by Ann Coulter. So they're trying to help this little murdering prick. I'm Kyle Rittenhouse. You might know me from what? We know you from being a murderer. You know me from being acquitted? No, that's not how we know you. Listen to the audio. It's worse than Tarabuster. And I know that Tara Jr. isn't moonlighting as a producer for this asshole, so can't be his fault.
Hi, I'm Kyle Rittenhouse. You might know me as the guy who was recently acquitted from all charges in the Kenosha self-defense case.
All charges. Self-defense case.
From the very beginning, I did nothing wrong.
That is the true motto of the Republican Party. From the very beginning, I did nothing wrong? From the very beginning. No, you drove your unfit ass into a melee where nobody wanted you, and you killed people because somebody threw a plastic bag at you. That was the threat. From the very beginning, I did nothing wrong. This is the Republican Party. This is them. This is it is. I see Pookie's mama. It's disgusting. It is. It's absolutely vile. Does this go on in other countries that are successful? I'm sure it does. But it's not it doesn't get tweeted out by celebrities. And I'm saying that generously, as far as Ann Coulter.
That didn't stop the media from smearing my name. It's time to fight back against the fake.
Smearing his name by reporting the truth about him. If that's a smear, honey, then it's not the media. You better look at yourself. The world is your mirror. Don't break the mirror, honey. Fix your fucking face. Kyle Rittenhouse's mother says Biden defamed her son by suggesting he's a white supremacist. Oh, whoa. Isn't that what happened, though? Isn't that what you are? Kyle Rittenhouse's mother says her son's defamed. That doesn't make it true. So these are the headlines. They chose to show to present his case. Acquitted. Exactly. Haiku on the chat. Acquitted? OJ was acquitted, Kyle. It's not a badge of honor. Exactly. Haiku. And We all know he did it. He fucking did it. I remember the OJ trial. Remember that? And it was it was at the beginning of DNA being used in to convict people. So there was a lot of confusion about it too. And when they interviewed the O.J. Simpson jury after they acquitted him, the reporters were saying that some of the jurors, I mean, this is a failure on the prosecution part, of course, but they were saying that they asked about the DNA. Well, what about the DNA? And one of the jurors says, well, a lot of people have the same DNA. Obviously getting it confused with blood type. So that obviously the prosecution fucked up. That was a fucked up travesty of justice. And even at the time, you remember people with darker pigment all jumping up in the air and white people all dejected about it. And that seemed like it illustrated the divide in the country of seeing two different systems. But I in my opinion, I don't have darker pigment, but I think it was people were cheering that somebody got away finally. Anyway, I don't know. They all know he did it. Everybody knows he did it. Nobody thinks that fucker's innocent. He killed his wife and his wife's friend. All right, let's get back to Kyle.
News machine. This is why I'm launching the Kyle Rittenhouse fake news turkey shoot video game.
The worst video game ever with the worst audio. Where did he record his audio? In the bathroom? It's horrible.
Fight back against the fake news machine. This is why I'm launching the Kyle Rittenhouse fake news turkey shoot video game.
It's the worst.
The media is nothing but a bunch of turkeys with nothing better to do than push their lying agenda and destroy innocent people's lives. So go to RittenhouseGame.com and pre-order the game now and help me fund the lawsuits to stop these fake news turkeys.
It's the fake news turkey shoot. Got a laser gun going pew pew pew. Filing lawsuits, and we about to bankrupt the fake news. Go to RittenhouseGame.com. Pre-order now.
It's the worst. Can they do anything that doesn't suck? Whoever cut that video is not a professional. Trying to be realistic here. So PETA issued a statement on this abomination. The fake news is nothing but a bunch of turkeys. You need an audio engineer, or at least a microphone that doesn't suck, and you should have not recorded that in your bathroom. Okay. Kyle Rittenhouse, 17 at the time, was present during Kenosha, Wisconsin riots of August 2020, armed with a semi-automatic rifle. This is from PETA. Rittenhouse would shoot Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Huber, and Gage Grosskreutz. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. During these events, with all but Grosskreutz passing away due to their injuries. During his trial, Rittenhouse would claim self-defense and was eventually acquitted of all charges because if you watch the trial, which I did from beginning to end, that judge was a joke. The judge was the judge was the Brett Kavanaugh of judges, of Kyle Rittenhouse judges. So this was 2 years ago, but Rittenhouse has recently received newfound attention as he announced a new video game, Kyle Rittenhouse's Turkey Shoot. He released a trailer. Okay, we'll just get to the statement. Although no official date's been given, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Where is the fucking Peter? Peter for the... Okay, yeah. While the announcement received attention from a number of people for a number of reasons, it most notably caught the attention of PETA, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, has issued statements and taken actions against several games in the past, calling, for example, a game called Far Cry 6 Cockfighting, calling for alinity to be banned on Twitch. So specifically, PETA says Kyle Rittenhouse is right that fake news is a scourge that often results in real-life harm and death, but in these times especially, we need to respect all and not promote more violence through a video game advocating shooting turkeys who bother no one and are thinking, feeling birds who look after their brood and, when not factory farmed, have full and interesting lives that they value. We're sending Kyle Rittenhouse a box of tofurkey roasts along with a request that he find an inanimate object to shoot if he's determined to shoot at all. And that's true. I guess they're doing the more flies with sugar approach. But it's right. There's this fundamental indifference to life. So this is the party of life? They hate life. And animals are another case in point. They have absolutely no respect for not just other human beings, but other life forms in general. They hate life. If they loved life, they would understand, just like this statement says, that other creatures like their life too. They value their lives like we do. They want to live. It's important to them. May not be important to the scheme of things, but is a Trump? Does a Trump make the Trump spawn? Make the sun come up in the morning or go down at night? We can argue the world would be better off without them. The other day, you guys know I do a lot of animal rescue and whatnot, and there was a bird. There's a place in New York. It's called the Wild Bird Fund. I love it. If you find injured birds or small animals here in New York, it's a public-private partnership organization that rehabs the animals, if they can, of course, and lets them live, releases them into the wild. So if you find a sick bird or other animals, like, well, what else do they have? They have squirrels there and whatnot. But so someone was posting on one of the neighbors app thing or Nextdoor, and somebody said, they posted, my cat attacked this bird and it was there for 2 days. She thought it had flown away. So, and I was watching this unfold. And they were like, let nature, some people were like, let nature take its course. So, of course, I was like, fuck that. So I volunteered to pick it up and take it to the Wild Bird Fund. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because the bird was great. It was a baby. It was, a fledgling robin. And it wanted to live. You had to hear its lungs, the way it was tweeting. It just had a broken wing. So the high hopes for its recovery, the woman who did the intake on the bird said that the broken wing was in a spot that they could set. So we're hoping it's has a happy recovery and is back to flying around Queens in no time. But it's another reminder for me, and I don't need animals or whatnot, but that every creature wants to live. So as far as this Kyle Rittenhouse game, it's an offense on so many levels. Not just that he's doing it, of course, he's disgusting, but the disdain to the point where he doesn't even think about. He thinks it's his right as a human being to go around killing things for no good reason. Just kill. Kill turkeys, kill people because they offend you. I mean, what were you fucking thinking? I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to have my mom drive me across state lines with a gun I shouldn't have. And I'm going to get in the middle of this bullshit going down here. Not in my community, right? It's not even his fucking community. I'm going to fake guard a business that that didn't ask me to be there. And then I'm going to run around killing people. Jesus Christ. What? Haiku on the chat? My neighbor went on summer vacation and left her outdoor cat to fend for herself. Ugh. Your neighbor is a dumb bitch. Wow, that infuriates me. Anyway, there's nothing I mean, I'm sure you're doing something about it, but that is absolute bullshit. Her outdoor cat, for one thing. Letting a cat out. Having an outdoor... I know that different places it's different in the country. But at least put a bell on the cat. Because it's like letting a serial killer loose into the bird community. So give the birds a fighting chance. Put a bell on the cat. But the other thing is, leave your cat to fend for itself? What the fuck is that? Why don't they leave? Somebody should leave her to fend for herself. Because if the cat is getting fed and is being taken care of by human beings, it doesn't know how to fend for itself. Like you and I, if we're not trained to live off the fat of the land, we don't know how to do it. It's not instinct. If they have to be taught. Their mothers, if they're outdoor cats, if they're truly outdoors and they're feral or whatever, their mothers teach them how to survive. You don't just go, okay. This happens all the time, though. I see people, of course, because I do this. I see dumped animals all the time, and I want to murder. I want to murder, legally and peacefully. I'm only kidding. I don't want to murder. I do. I wouldn't, but it does make me think about this sad species of ours, and why it's so important not to tolerate cruelty in any form. Why is it so funny? Too. That's the thing. They don't even consider. They think it is unmanly or somehow. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Like to give a shit about other creatures. Like if you eat a steak and you're like yum yum yum, and you don't even. That's your right as a human. Like you don't think about what the animal went through. So that's your right. To be unconscious. That's the conservative way. It really is. So if you show any form of compassion towards creatures who are giving their very lives for human sustenance, then you're a pussy somehow. You're not a man. You're not an American. It's fucking disgusting. And it's part of the problem. But, it all comes down to that Republicans hate America. Because they hate... How could you love America if you hate everybody in it? You know? So, these attacks on Brittany Griner from the right-wingers, saying that she personified... she's so successful. So, there were successful people with darker pigment throughout history. So that doesn't mean the system doesn't need to, to make progress in the right direction. Basically, the Republicans think because it's working for them, it's not the system, it's the people. So it's everything else but the broken ass system in which they derive their privilege and hierarchy. Even though they are, if you're not in the halls of power, you're a dupe too. You are being screwed too. But as long as they're a little bit higher on the ladder. So, yeah, this Brittany Griner thing. And it just goes to show you, she's, because somebody is, and this is what they would say about Colin Kaepernick. Oh, he's a millionaire. What's he doing taking a knee? Because they have, why would they take a knee if they got theirs? You know what I mean? It's not Colin Kaepernick. It's not, nobody has their boot on or their knee on Colin Kaepernick's neck. What's he complaining about? He's a millionaire. He's just shut up and play. Shut up and catch the ball. Shut up and, dribble. And it's what they're doing, what conservatives are doing, they're simply proving how clueless they are. It's, and also giving cover to the broken ass system. Whatever. They're dupes. What was the other thing? I'm looking I'm just looking at the time. We're running out of time. Everything, here's the show. Everything sucks. I'm only kidding. Like here, for example, Wisconsin Supreme Court pushes Trump's big lie in ruling in banning ballot drop boxes. Excuse me. So, based on the big lie, Republicans are changing laws all over the country so they can steal elections. Based on a fucking lie. So, this is from Common Dreams, Julia Conley. Political observers on Friday were alarmed by Wisconsin Supreme Court ruling restricting the use of drop boxes for absentee election ballots. Not just because the decision will make it harder for many residents to vote, but also because the High Court's ruling the High Court's right-wing majority openly embraced former asshole, less vote getting con man Donald Trump's lies about the 2020 election. So they're solidifying these fucking lies everywhere we look. Reality has a liberal bias. So they just make shit up, just like they make up the fact that they're patriots and who love life. So, just like how Boris Johnson pulls numbers out of his ass, and then they all start repeating it, even though the people get up there and they're like, "No, look, here's math. This is bullshit," but they don't stop repeating it. And you tell me, people like that, they love their country? They love their country when they are lying to the faces of the people. That if you love your country, that means you love your fellow countrymen, right? This country, well, I'm talking about them, but it's conservatism. It is just, and it is an antagonist to freedom and democracy. Exactly. Where's the other one? So the Democrats are, going back to the IRS thing for a second, because we only have a few minutes left. The Democrats are urging Biden to fire this IRS chief. You don't think he's involved? Please. He's a Trump. What? First of all, the other thing is, why are any Trump flunkies in positions of power in this administration? You see what I mean? The Democrats let these people. Why is this IRS chief Louis DeJoy? What is he still doing as the Postmaster General? So, Representative Bill Pascrell of New Jersey demanded on Thursday that the president fire the Trump-picked Internal Revenue Service chief in the wake of revelations that the agency conducted rare and intensive audits of ex-FBI Director James Comey and his deputy Andrew McCabe. If you think the audit of Donald Trump's purported enemies was a random act of God, then I have a bridge in New Jersey to sell you, said Pascrell. It's true. Of course, it can't stand. This cannot be allowed to go on unaddressed. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. I'll keep my eye on that. But, this is what we're talking about. Somebody, who was telling me this? Maybe it was in the chat. You guys were saying everywhere we look, Democrats on shows like this and all across the independent media are screaming for Democrats to fight. And we're just screaming ourselves hoarse. All right, let me look at the time here. Oop, oh my God, we got like 4 minutes. So as far as Brittany Griner, so we're talking about, so this is the systemic thing that the Republicans go after. It's the person. If Brittany Griner, one person's success indicates that everything's working as planned. Yet, she's pretty much an exception that proves the rule. Here's from the Washington Post. The black-white economic divide is as wide today as it was in 1968. So 50 years ago, we haven't made any progress. But I say this all the time. When Republicans, like, who was that? He was saying how there is no not Tim Ryan. Who's that one? The one who gave the black Republican senator. Somebody on the chat will tell me. Said there is no, I want to make it clear. The United States is not a racist nation. Well, explain that. Why is it that the economic divide between black families and white families is as wide as it was 50 years ago? Why is it like that? Anyway, why is it that the intergenerational wealth of families of darker pigment is like $5,000, whereas white families, the intergenerational wealth is like 150,000? Here it is. I'm sorry. The black wealth gap in median household income is black families $13,000, white families $149,000. So if there's no institutional racism or systemic racism meaning in our system, how does that happen? Is it simply that families of darker pigment don't work hard enough, or they suck? They just suck in some form. Just can't put it together. Right? They just can't lift themselves up by their bootstraps. It has nothing to do with things like the GI Bill only extending to white service members, as far as you can use your GI Bill to buy a home. That was something that service members with darker pigment weren't allowed to access. What the hell is more racist than that? We got a lot of work to do. Guys, I hear the music. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out on Friday evenings. I mean, we got more stuff to talk about, and we have more shows ahead because we are on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin, and we will win. We're pro-life. We're normal people. Progressives are pro-life. We're the patriots. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. All right. Guys. When are we going to have our next show? Anybody? Will we all be there? Yes. We have a lot of work to do. We have more stuff happening. Thank you, Richard W., Jim, and Errol for super chatting tonight. And remember, if you're on this channel here on YouTube, this is where I'm hanging out mostly in the chat. But Tim Scott. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Tim Scott. I was thinking Tim Ryan, but then I knew. That's that other guy. That's the other guy. You know what I mean? The guy with the hair who stands, who walks. You know what I mean? And yeah. Remember to hit the notification bell so you'll know when we go live, even though it might be late some nights. But no, I will be here until they, I don't know, bang down the door. Wouldn't that be interesting? One day they'll bang down the door. We'll be on the air, be like, boom, boom. I'll be an old lady. I am an old lady now, but not as old as well, that's what happens when you keep waking up. It's okay. It could be worse. Guys, thank you so much again. I'm a little tired now. I don't know. I have the cats in the bedroom. Let me see. Except Ray. He's walking around. He escaped. I put them all inside. I was like, I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want no producers tonight. Oh, and the other thing I have to tell you. Oh, yes. What Play Dave says, well, Tara, you have some names to choose from. Candace Owens, Tim Scott, Kelly Loeffler. I know. They're all in there. Merging like one giant festering parasitic boil on the body politic. But so Ray has some rare mouth issue. He's got, I looked it up. It's like, let me see. Cat. What is it called? Now it's escaping me. Talk about a name that escapes your head. Let's see. Cat. Let me see if I can find it. Losing teeth. Oh, you know what? I could find it on his page. Ray has, they all have insurance, so I pay for pet insurance because I learned the hard way. So let me see how his diagnosis. Anyway, he's got this weird, he's only 2. He's already had 5 teeth pulled. Now he's going to have another one. And he's got this weird thing that, what's it called, though? Never heard of it, but the doctor warned me by the time he's old. Yeah, it's called oral RESORPTIV lesions. Resorptive, yes, oral resorptive lesions in his mouth. So by the time he's an old man, he's probably going to have no teeth, this kid. Good thing he's he's off the street, because it makes me think about all the ones who are out there in pain. Poor thing. But he's going to have... So I gave him some painkillers. And until we get back to the doctor in a couple of weeks, I had to make an appointment. He's going to have some more teeth pulled. Poor guy, right? He's going to have no teeth. Anyway, never had a cat with no teeth, but he's only 2. You have to see the way the doctor has it on the teeth, and see the missing teeth. They're all inked out. Soon it's gonna be like no teeth. There's a lot of teeth missing in that. Missing. All right, we got a lot of work to do. Where's the producer? He's in the bedroom, guys. He's in the bedroom. He was getting on my nerves. Because he's on Prozac now. So, like the rest of us. Because who is this? New phone number. Somebody just sent me a text. New phone number. Without identifying who they are. So how the fuck do I know who it is? You don't understand what I mean? You text me... New phone number. And maybe it's spam. Who is this? Let's see. New phone number. And a phone number. That seems kind of suspicious, right? Let's see. Let's see if anybody responds. Okay. Now I'm just talking. Let's get back together. And if you can think of, let's see... Robin and I are going to start doing some shows together. We want the producer? Do you want the producer? You want the producer to come out as the big finale for tonight? Let me see. Maybe I can... Let me play something. Let's play while I go... Let's see. Get the producer. Here, I'll play this. Well, I don't want to get kicked off. I'll play this Kristi Noem CNN bit. Well, not a bit. It's her appearance on CNN talking about the... Oh, here's a good one. I didn't get that one. Debbie Lesko says she would shoot her own grandchildren. There's so many other stories I wanted to do. Like the one with the woman says that she wants women to have the right to choose how much to choose their intake of semen. What, do you see how sick these fucking people are? Choose their intake of semen. They hate women. It's women who, they carry their pregnancy to 9 months. And then it's the day they're going to give birth, and they say, oh, fuck it. Kill it. This is what they say. This is what they believe. This is exactly what DeSantis said happens. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all. But they all gasped. It's like... Because they believe it. They think it's possible because they hate women. Yeah, Utah Republican, of course, apologizes for saying that women can control their intake of semen. See how sick they are? She celebrated the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. Day after the ruling... She said, women do not have a choice when they are raped, and they have protection under Utah's trigger law. My first statement to the press in the press conference made clear the actions I have taken to pass these bills. And she's apologizing. for saying it now. But why would you say something like that? It's so disgusting and so sick. Oh, shit. Fucking ad is playing. And I cannot lower the volume. Let's see. Let's just let it run then. Bing, 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 bing. Sorry, guys. I'm losing everybody.
Read anything you want.
All for the producer.
Read. Makes reading simple. Available now at
Holy shit. Shut up. Usually you can lower that
shit. Clearly don't trust women enough to make choices to control their own body. And my response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of them, and to clearly don't trust.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to play this video. I'm going to get the producer. It's a command performance for the producer.
That I clearly don't trust women enough to make choices to control their own body. And my response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of them, and to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory, but I think as a legislature, we have the responsibility to create a legal framework that is friendly in supporting rights.
Can you believe that? That's the right-wing version of feminism. I trust women to control their intake of semen. All right, here's the producer. Producer. Come on, honey. Let me move this. I see that somebody knocked the water over there. Fess up, guys. Fess up. All right, here we go. My hair is all messed up now, but who cares? The show's over. It's the producer. Hello. It's very bright, I know. Say something, honey. Say something. You're quiet. What else? What else, honey? What else? Welcome. Welcome, Junior. How's your day? Good boy. Mine too. Isn't he a good boy? I love him. He needs his own channel. Probably be more patrons on that channel. All right, my friends. That's it for tonight. Let's get back together as soon as we can. Maybe Monday, Tuesday. It all depends on who. If somebody becomes a patron, we'll do a show. How's that? Intake of... I know, right? Winston on the chat. It is so... Every time I think they've hit bottom, the trap door opens. And they fall down into the lower depths. Who could have ever imagined we would be discussing a Republican saying that she wants women to control their bodies. She just wants them to control their intake of semen? And everybody stands there. Nobody said anything. Let's play it again. They all agree that this is an appropriate statement.
Clearly don't trust women enough to make choices to control their own body. And my response is, I do trust women enough to control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So inside of
nobody
them,
blinks.
And to control that intake of semen. So that may be inflammatory, but I think as a legislature, we have the responsibility to create a legal framework that is friendly in supporting rights.
Wow. And all... just look at all the white, pasty white cracker faces. Every little white, embarrassing, unfit face. Look at them all. Nobody blinks. They think
allow a man to ejaculate. So inside.
Allow a man to ejaculate inside her. Nobody flinches. Nobody's like, what the fuck are you saying? I could imagine a Democrat. Nobody can. For all their flaws, right? We got work to do, that's for sure. And she's all, hey, I think this is it might be inflammatory, but I'm going to say it anyway because I have no boundaries. I am unfit. Control your intake of semen, because women are whores. They're if you allow women to have autonomy, they are whores. It's just semen after semen being ejaculate, allowing a man to ejaculate inside her. Who the fuck are these people? Who are these people? They hate life. They hate America. They hate everything. They hate. To talk about women and men connecting in such a disgusting way. To just strip all humanity out of it, because that's all it is. Not women are vessels. A man spills his seed, and then you have a little happy accident, even if you're 10 years old. It's fucking sick. These people are sick. That's what it boils down to for you. And nobody blinks. Look at the expressions on all the I don't know what the fuck these are. Are we in Westworld or something? A Westworld for fascists? No one blinks. They just stand there. It's disgusting. They're vile.
To control when they allow a man to ejaculate. So
when they allow a man to ejaculate, look at everybody. Nobody's moving.
To control that intake of semen.
That's the control. I want choice. The choice of semen. How much semen is ejaculated inside me? That's your freedom. That's your freedom, ladies. Not the freedom to have a choice about whether some people, see, this is the thing. This is what Republicans, why they hate life. As we know, if somebody finds themselves pregnant, unplanned pregnancy, if you're in a civilization where you can get health care, education, where you make a living wage, this is not an economic catastrophe. So you might say, oh, okay, well, I can afford to bring this pregnancy to term. The number one reason women have abortions is economic. Republicans know that. Everybody knows that. This is the studies. Everybody knows it. It's not just about, the abhorrent, disgusting, true life tales, the horror of a 10-year-old who's been raped. It's the everyday life of being a human being. People want to connect, bitch. I know you're a Republican and you can't understand that. It's not just about controlling the intake of semen. You filthy, filthy fascist. You see how they dehumanize everyone? Everything is everything. Connection, community, decency, humanity is ugly and vile and small to them. Just like Trump, that's all it is about for him, right? For a man, for a real Republican, that's all it's about. When your wife is home and she's recovering from the birth that she just gave birth to one of your spawns, your third trophy wife is home recovering from childbirth, you're out there putting your small dick in porn stars. That's all it's about. Where can you put your dick today? because I guess, that's the extent of their relationships with other human beings. It's all about what you can get. Everything's transactional. Can I ejaculate? Can I get off in you? Filthy, filthy. These people are filth. That's why they have no business being in the halls of power. Okay, I see the show is over, but that's the after show. They're vile. Filth. All right, guys. Oh my God. I gotta go cut the show down. Thank you so much. We had a great chat room tonight. As always, thank you guys. Thank you, Haiku and Jim, for keeping the chat room a friendly place for normal people. Nobody needs to be assaulted in the Tarabuster chat room. We came to that decision. We're not going to tolerate. We have a zero tolerance policy for trolls. So thank you. Right. Didn't Utah have to give up polygamy to join the nation? Yeah. Fucking more. Well, they did on paper, so. All right, my friends. If you can, become a patron, patreon.com/TaraDevil. Thank you. Also, give the show a good review on iTunes. That helps. And tell your friends to hang out. Say, what are you doing Friday night? Invite them to the chat room. What else? Whatever. APS Radio News. Check it out. There's normal people there too. Rokfin, if you dare, if you feel like it. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for hanging out. We got more work to do. Keep the show going and growing. Also, remember, we have the Discord page. You can hang out between shows. Share pictures of your own pets. And we will win. We're on the right side of history. Oh, shit. What'd I do? Uh-oh. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, and democracy. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. My name is Tara Devlin, and I will see you very soon.